Hello, I'm Everett from Everett's Watercolors. Welcome to my classroom. Today I'm going to go over a demonstration on a drawing. And so let me show you what I've got. I've got a still life set up over here. So this is the setup I have. It shows 3 objects and a little shadow pattern. So that's what I'm going to start drawing. So let me show you some of my tools I have. Over here I have a drawing box and then pencils and so forth. And today I'm going to use 3 pencils. I'm going to use an HB, a 2B, and a 6B lead. Okay, and also have a large blending stump, which I'm going to use to blend the lead with. And I have a small tortillon for small close-up places. And I have an eraser in case I need it. And over here is a sketch pad. It's a 9x12 piece of, it's a sketch pad with 9x12 paper. So that's all I need to get started. So I'm going to move you over to the close-up shot. And I'm going to use the, I'll start with the HB lead. And first of all, I'll put in just a general shape. I see a triangular composition here. So I'm just going to draw a little guideline across here for compositional references. And then I'm going to put in the first shape, which is a circular object, a cylinder. And then I'll start drawing in this little object here, this little block. Now let me show, while I'm drawing this, I'm going to put up another view so you can see also what I'm looking at. So from this view you can see up in the left hand corner there the actual object that I'm looking at, and you can see the drawing that I'm doing. Okay, so now I'm doing this little object here, this square object, and I'm checking the angles, the sizes of the sides. Now this little shape here, this front side here is closer to me, so it's going to be a little bit longer than this back side line. So, and that gives me the feeling of perspective and depth. And then there's a line that goes across here from this other object. It's flat. Intersection here. And then this comes down here. And then there's a line there's a line that goes across here from this corner to here. And this intersection, let me draw this line in first to see. Let's get this. You start wherever you want to start, but then you want to check angles, the shape, the size, and this line here comes down. Now same here, this line here is going to be shorter. This is the closest side right here. So this angle here will go back, and this side back here will be shorter. So this side here is shorter than the front side. This side over here is shorter than the front side. Okay, then this little corner here, which comes down, And then this will shift back, looking at distances and so forth, angles. I'm just roughing in it right now with this HB pencil. And again, this forward edge here is going to be a little bit larger than the back edge. So it's going to go back. And this edge over here is a little bit smaller, it's further away. Okay, now the last thing I want to put in is the shadow pattern. The shadow pattern starts back here. And it's also circular, not so evident, but it is a circular shape because it's projected from the circular object. And this will come down. And this goes straight across here. And it goes out to somewhere about in here. Again, just roughing in the shapes. And then this one, there's a little edge here which shows a shadow. And then there's I'm going to move this line. There's a line here from the background. And there's a line over here from the background. I can put those in just to give a little dimension. Okay. Then there's the background also has a line up here, a shadow line up here. Okay. All right. So now I've got the shapes in, and I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to go ahead and start putting the shadow in. First thing I do is I look at the darkest area. The darkest area is going to be this flat surface here. I'm using a 6B lid because it has a darker lid. I'll use a 6B pencil. And I can put that in pretty quickly. And I can change the angles. I can move the paper if I wanted to. Get a better angle to do it. You know, really, when you're drawing, there is no perfect right way. It's just whatever you want to practice. Okay. Now that's the dark side. That's the darkest value that I see. Okay. The next value is going to be that the cylinder shape. And here I'm going to use, this is a 6B I used here. Here I'm going to use a 2B, which is a little lighter lead. So I'm going to put a lighter value here. And also this has a circular shape to it. So I'm going to just start putting in the edges. The outside edges, and then the inside portion is going to be a little much lighter because it's a rounded object. And I'll show you how I do that as soon as I get to some of the lid in here. And then up here, it's I'll even do a circular pattern when I shade it in, just to give an idea that's a circular shape also. Okay, now the background is much lighter. The background value is much lighter than this. So I'm going to use the HB pencil. This is my third pencil. The HB was my lightest. I used that to block in the shapes. Again, I just want to get some graphite on the paper, the graphite from the pencil, using the HB. Just to block it in. And this little square box shape here, actually what I want to do is change this angle here. I see I'm going to inspect myself here. This angle here would come back a little more. I'll shade that in. Okay. All right. Now this has got some. This is a rough texture. It's really not a smooth surface. So I'm just going to put some graphite on that, and then we're just going to rough it up a little bit, make it look like a rough surface. Okay. And then there's a little bit of value down here at the foreground. Over here in the background, I can put some, and I'll leave some of the white paper to show again another value. White paper is a value compared to the rest of the value. Now, what I do now is I pick up my stomp and I do the blending. Now, this is a very useful tool, and I use this in all my drawings. It shades in the pencil marks, smooths them out, blends in the darks very nicely. I can also get gradation, which I'll show you here on the circular one. And this is where this is where I have a lot of fun doing this, because this is a blending process. There's also even with color pencils, there's a blending tool for color pencils, which I'm going to have a class on, a little demonstration on that one of these days. There's watercolor pencils, there's color pencils, there's pastel pencils, there's crayons. I mean, there's all kinds of drawing objects you can use, drawing tools. Okay, that's the dark side. Then the next side, now again, I'm just going to very lightly back here on the this object here. And remember, this is circular, so I'm going to start here in the corner on the side, which is darker. And as I come forward, I can vary the pressure on this stump. I don't have to press hard. I just gradually add less and less pressure as I come out, because I want this to look more like a circular object. So it's going to be dark back here. As I come forward, it's going to get lighter to give the perception of a circular object. I left out an object today, which I think that's I think the next drawing class I show, I'll use more objects, and spheres are also very interesting to draw. Spheres, which has a 360 dimension. Okay. Now, and as I go along, I may adjust some of these values as I go along. But right now the one here in the background is lighter than this cylinder shape. It's the shadow. So I'm just going to put that in real quickly. And this stump does a very nice job of blending out the pencil marks. So really, see, putting the pencil marks in very quickly and then using the stump to blend it out is a real good way to do a flat surface or a curved surface, like I showed you here. And now this one here, it's got a rough texture to it, so I'm just going to do little pieces of this. I'm not going to make it smooth. I'm just going to make it a rough looking. Okay. Now the last thing I do here is I'm going to, and I don't have to even put a pencil. I don't have to even put much on here, because the graphite on the stump allows me to. The graphite on the stump allows me to put down a mark on the paper, and I'll put a little bit over here. Again, this just gives me a little more contrast. This is the foreground, which is a little darker than blocking in the shapes. and a little bit of background here. I cover up as much of the white paper as I can because that gets everything else into perspective about the values. Get all the white paper covered up. I'm going to leave just that one area of white paper. You know, the values, I can go back now and take a real quick look at the values. This could be a little darker in here. On this, I can bring this edge out a little better by putting a little more graphite here and along this edge here. Okay, so now I'm just making some final adjustments here, just to separate the objects by putting a little more graphite, a little more pencil mark there. This side over here is also a little darker against the background. And I'll go ahead and put a little more of that in. I like the foreground. This object here looks pretty good. I don't want to change that. The background. Now I can take the eraser now. If something's a little bit dark, I can take the eraser and just gradually take off a little bit of the pencil marks. So I can take some of the pencil off, and I can go back in and then reblend that. So I can go back and forth on this several times to capture the shapes. Well, that concludes a little exercise here on the simple drawing. I used a still life setup with simple objects, and then I used 3 pencils and a sketch pad and a blender, which is called a stomp. And I was able to capture the values and the shapes. And let's take a look at that still life setup again. That's the one up close. And I think that was a pretty good job to get started. It was a quick sketch and a quick study on how to do a simple drawing. I'll be back again with some more drawing exercises and some more things to show you. So come on back and see me again. Thank you.